to find something that you think I like, and that's alright. But honestly, I just need you with me right now. You can give rep yourself.
Yeah.
I don't need nothing else.
Hey,
You and
hey.
me at my place.
Oh, you hear that, right?
Hey, hey.
He said get his vocals. I don't. Yo,
What up?
shout out to my man Lil Duval.
You got another one.
He said he's taking the place of R. Kelly.
Nah,
While he's on
taking-
vacation.
He's taking the place of Charlie Wilson with this one.
He did remind me of Uncle Charlie.
Yeah.
Now that you talk about it, yeah, man. Episode 66,
Man,
Unspoken Conversation.
man, what's up with it?
It's your boy Antoine the Source.
Man, it's knowledge, man.
And you know we got two special guests in the building.
You heard?
And you can turn it down.
Need I say more? You know.
No, yeah, we
He
got
turned
two
it up.
special.
I've been famous.
Yeah, my bad, man. Had some technicalities on this issue, but
Funny. You was like, hey, turn it down.
you know,
He was
Lil
like,
Duval,
turn it up. Yeah, I got
Lil
you.
Duval is a persistent ass dude, man. He
Yeah.
refused to fade out. But yeah, you know, we had to bring in two special guests. You know, somebody that you've probably ran into somewhere in
Definitely.
the city of Dallas or in the Metroplex area. My man Brandon Moore, Mr. AKA Moore in Dallas.
Hey, what up?
Hey.
It's me, more in Dallas. Need I say more? You know?
And we got another special guest, you know, Helen from Nashville right about now is
Right
where
about
she is.
now. Yeah.
And her name, yes, this is her name. I wanted to welcome
Welcome, Sarah.
Sarah.
Hey,
It's a
hey.
great conversation starter.
Two first names.
Yes. They're not two first names. I have
I could've sworn
two
that's how you
very
explained it to me.
independent. No, that's not. I have two. I
Sorry.
can really see.
My bad.
She got defensive.
Kind of passionate.
Very,
yeah,
yeah.
just slightly. They're two very.
I felt it on the
independent
side of my face like, ouch. Okay, I'm sorry.
So how many guys have ruined their shot at a number by making a real corny joke about your name?
Yeah.
It's a lot, right?
Yeah. She didn't say no number. She said,
Yeah.
yes.
About how it goes, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
It's happened.
Yeah, I can see it. You know,
Yeah.
I got a few bad jokes in my head right now.
You're
Just-
welcome to leave when you want to.
Yep. Heard it. Check. Should we go down the list?
Okay, please give me the list.
Uh,
You're more than welcome to come over. More than welcome. More
Oh,
than
that was
welcome.
a nice play. That was a nice play.
Man, I love it. You know, I love it. You know, my name gave me got me the nickname Frenchie. You know,
What? Elaborate.
so my first job out of college, my boss could never pronounce my name Antoine the right way, so she would call me Anton. And you know, one day I was just a little snappy, so I'm like, you know, it's Antoine, and she looked at me like I was wrong about my name. Like, I don't see a W. Da 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 da. I was like, it's French. You know what I mean?
As soon as you said that, it was a wrap.
From then on, I was Frenchy, you know. And what's funny is she was one of those loud black supervisors. So I actually saw her at the fair this year, and I heard Frenchie. I turn around, who is it? 8 years, 9 years
Right, you
later,
already know.
still the name still sticks.
Still
and so
ignorant.
the nickname is really one of those things that when black people get your nickname, it never goes away.
No.
You don't really truly have a nickname until it's ordained on you. So I would just want to say shout out to her, by the way. You know, I had a few moments of growth from her, so I wanted to give her flowers.
Right.
But yeah, you know, I want to say first of all, thank y'all for pulling up. You know,
Yeah.
especially
Thank
with
you.
us winding down towards the end of 2019. One of the main things I wanted to focus on today, I love to have like conversations of reflection around this time of year,
Right.
because I feel like if you haven't had a moment of growth or a moment of clarity during your year, I feel like you would just kind of had your head down. You know, you wasn't really looking for it.
Mhm.
So I really been following your story, you know, from afar, from the outside, because I love to see the swell and the momentum that grows with a brand, you know, and just see how far it can go.
Yeah.
And so if you want, you know, just give us a little bit of insight on your background and just how, you know, how did you lead up to December 2019 right now, you know, the You in Dallas, More in Dallas brand.
Oh, you want all that in there?
I want you to drop the gems, man. You
Oh,
know, you got
man.
people that's trying to, you know, put this thing together, connect the dots, especially in this time where I feel like networking is really critical right now. So
Right.
just give us some insight on how you got there, you know?
All right, so y'all sound like y'all want the long version.
Yeah.
All right, so here it is. So I was born in a cold winter day in the middle of
Not too long. I was
It's-
gonna say
oh.
wait, but not too long.
Oh, not that.
3 a.m. in the morning.
Not the,
Yeah, it was a cold winter day.
not the extra long version.
No, born and raised in Fort Worth. Like my whole life, all of my family is from Fort Worth. I grew up in a very entertaining family. I think I would like my mom. This is literally the word my mom uses to describe my family: party people. Literally, that's it. People look at my personality and people see me as like this like loud,
Yeah.
like outgoing person. I'm the chill one in my family. I'm one of the most chill people that you will meet in my
I
family.
can see that actually.
Yes,
You know?
I'm one of the ones that's reserved. Like you see me at a function, and I'm like trying to keep up, but I can't keep up with them. Like they on another level. So I mean, that was my background. I've just always been around people who, and like also a very close family, and that's what we've always been around. Is just being able to like kick it with each other. We laugh with each other. We joke with each other. We high side real hard on each other. You know what I mean? So with that, like it's always been this openness and all love.
Yeah.
Like you know how sometimes you get around people's family and it's like you see the tension in certain
Yeah,
situations.
you got to walk on shells.
Exactly. Well, my family, we go high side whoever come in the door. And
Both
it's very
sides,
open.
you don't have a bougie side of the family?
No.
Because you know how some black people have that 180. It's like the side of the family
So
you can
look-
drink around and the side that you can't.
Like, I can drink around both sides. The one that I'm around the most is my mom's side of the family.
Okay.
Them the ones that are like they still, you know, like they still hood people, but like then there's the other side on my dad's side where they
They got hood tendencies, but they done kind of moved up.
no.
a little.
It's
the other way?
Nah, they,
The other way.
they really hood.
Yeah, like it goes to another level.
It's-
You know what I mean?
It's another level, yeah.
Yeah, so like, but with that, I still kick it with both sides of my family. But I just, you know, you always end up around your
Yeah.
mom's side of the family more.
I don't know why is it like
I don't
that.
know why.
That's really
Like,
the
it
case.
is. It
Yeah.
is.
So for me, that was my upbringing. It's always been like family has always been something that's been very welcoming, and we all are very connected. We've never had any problems with each other, and we're able to be very transparent about everything.
Right.
So I think you can see that a lot in my personality, the way I carry myself on social media. I'm
Yeah.
a very transparent person, right? But going back into the story of everything, so went to high school in North Crowley, graduated, went to University of Houston.
Okay.
Now, when I got to University of Houston, I was super involved. I did a little bit of everything. I had a charity date auction that I like really put together and made happen every year.
Yeah.
I was like involved in a lot of different organizations. I never really did the whole Greek thing, but like
Right.
I was very like you would have thought that I was on that path because of how
You was
involved
trying to
I
make things happen on campus.
Exactly. That's what I did. I was a mover and shaker. You know what I mean? So with that, I ended up getting into the sales program.
Okay.
Sales program pushed me over to Florida. That was my first job out of college, was like doing sales.
Which part of Florida?
Fort Myers,
Woo.
Where's that?
Southwest Florida.
Hey, that is.
So look, imagine you got Tampa here,
Right.
you got Orlando here,
Yep.
you got Miami here.
Yep.
That's everything that's cool, right?
Fort Myers way over there.
Exactly. There's a part over there that nobody goes to, nobody talks about. That's the
You
part that
saw
I live
Lion
in.
King when he said everything.
That's exactly what that
That's
was.
Fort Myers.
That's Fort Myers. I mean, it was just a really boring part, but I feel like it was a very critical part of me becoming who I am.
Right.
Because with that, I was pushed out of my comfort zone. I didn't have the things where it was like in U of H, I was able to be on campus and I stayed to my little bubble. Like that's
Right.
always been the way that I've been. It's like I've stayed in a little bubble of like, here's who I am. These are the people I kick it with.
Right.
But when I got to Fort Myers, I was like, I got to move around. Like there's no bubble here for me to even get comfortable in. So for me, I would probably say twice a month, I was traveling,
Okay.
going to different cities. So I'm going to Miami, I'm going to Orlando, Tampa, DC, Baltimore, Chicago,
Just integrating.
everywhere. And like for that, I was seeing all these different cultures
Mm-hmm.
in each one of these cities. And I saw that each one of these cities had their own distinct culture,
Mm-hmm.
right? So after my year in Fort Myers, after that year there, I was like, okay, like I'm going back to home, which like I don't want to be in Fort Worth. I want to be in Dallas,
Right.
because that's where the big city is, right? So with that, I came in expecting like, okay, I've seen what these cultures are for all these cities that I've been in. Now, what is this culture going to be when I get to Dallas?
Right.
So I get here to Dallas and I realized I don't know what the culture is. Like I'd been here for months, and I still like. If
Too
somebody
much
asked me like,
gumbo.
it's exactly. It's
Yeah.
so much, and it's not even like a New York where it's like
Right.
there's so much here, so there's something for everybody. It's more of a it's so much here that's still trying to develop itself and trying to get its traction.
Yep.
That it's nothing is strong enough for you to be able to say like, all right, let's all just latch on to
Right.
this. It was all spread out. So for me, I was looking at more in Dallas, and it was something that I was like thinking about before I moved here. But when I got here, I was like, okay, this is a need now. I felt like I needed to not develop the culture of Dallas, but
Yeah.
give a way for people to start to be introduced to it. Be able to say like, okay, you just moved to Dallas.
good.
Here are the things that you actually want to get in touch with, right? So I started that. I started as just a blog.
Right.
And it was just something that I literally was sharing with like a couple of friends.
So what was the point of the blog? Like, just to give us some insight, like what was the purpose you were trying to get? Like, was it just to give people more insight on what's going on in the fabric of within the city, or was it more about a thing of just your experience integrating? Like, how was?
So at the original concept was supposed to be of me integrating.
Yeah.
But then, like for me, like I'm coming from a sales background. It's all about finding value. Like, what is something that people actually need at this point? Not what I want to push on the people, but what's needed. And I realized there was a need that people were like, okay, we don't know what to do in Dallas.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm more in Dallas. Like I got more for you here in Dallas,
Play on
right?
words.
Yeah. So for me, it started out me just like writing every week. Here's the events that are going on this week, and I was writing like long articles. Like here's details. Oh, excuse me. Here's details about everything going on in the city every week.
Right.
And from that, I think that's something that I would suggest people do as they're building out their brand. Like I took the time to do things that I knew wasn't going to make me money,
Yeah.
but it built me connections. Because as I was sitting there talking about all these different events, every time I write about somebody's stuff, I'm sending it to them like, hey, I want to let you know, I'm
plugging you.
plugging you.
Definitely.
So with that, I built some really strong relationships because people saw me as the guy who was putting the city out there.
And I don't care how big a brand is, if you take the time to actually lead people to that, I
Mhm.
feel like it's appreciated and also grows you, get you a lot of leverage with that company.
Yes.
You know, to be willing to work and collaborate. So
Yes, and that was my whole thing. My whole thing was about like this isn't about my brand. This is about giving everybody who's part of who follows me, giving them value. So with that, you started to see that my brand grew exponentially very quickly. Like like I said, I've only been here like 2.5 years now. But in that first year, a lot of people knew my name, not because I was doing something that was so amazing, but because
you just saw it.
I was just trying to introduce people to the things that were really like the dope things that were going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So with that, after I built up that brand, the next thing that I really saw was that like, yeah, people were like happy that they were getting these events,
Mhm.
but people didn't feel comfortable going out by themselves.
You want to know what? Because I moved here about 9 years, and that's true.
Yeah.
Like being from Houston, which is so close, being from anywhere that's close to your hometown, being close to where you live,
Yep.
is a dangerous thing because you go home too much.
You stay in your bubble.
Mhm.
Yep.
And that was what I was talking about. I had to be pushed out of mine. So for me, like, and that was the thing I was realizing, that people were in that bubble and they didn't have any way to get out of it. So that was where the next step came in with you in Dallas.
Yeah.
That started out as me just making a little group me. And I legit thought like, man, there's probably gonna be like 20 people in this little group me. And like, we probably go build like a little small friend
Yeah.
circle. But me just being like not to brag on myself or nothing, but like the natural marketer that I am, you know what I mean? I start marketing it, and I look up literally the next day after I created the group. I think we had a good like 100 people in there. Bro.
It took me three invitations to finally join. Cause
Yeah.
I was like, man, I don't know them people.
Another group me, like bro,
Yeah.
in Dallas, we all know it's 100 group me's
I
out
was
there.
like, I'm not really trying to
Yeah,
get
the
another group chat. I'm not gonna check.
Yeah.
Exactly, you
And
got to
then
know
it kept
you.
coming up on me like from 3 different people. So I'm like, go and check this
Let me
out.
check this out. Yeah, and that was the thing. Like, it kept getting this traction. I think especially once we moved over to Slack.
Yeah.
Now the reason I did that was because of number one, it was the whole thing of it was another group me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I felt like this thing is getting big, and I don't want it to turn into what I've seen other group me's turn into.
Right.
And the biggest issue for me was that, like, when people were in these group messages, you would go on there, like, and be super active, but you miss, like, 2 hours, and
Right.
You come back, they on a whole nother subject.
Right.
You like, bro, what are y'all talking about? It's like 5 inside jokes that you don't know nothing about.
Right.
You know, so for me, I created Slack, I pulled everybody over to the Slack platform because it made it to a point where it was organized.
Right.
Right. And you were able to go in there and like, you can miss a whole day and you can come in and be like, all right, boom. It was like this happened. Now I'm caught up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for that grew exponentially. That went from, we started out with maybe 200 something people in the group.
Yeah.
When I first started it, like on that first day, and now we sitting at 3,600.
Damn.
Yeah.
Because I remember, talking to you in preparation for this week's show, and we discussed, we were discussing what we were going to talk about, and you were telling me you were bringing Welcome in also, and you guys were basically saying, because first of all, when I saw it and actually started moving around in Slack and you in Dallas, I realized how scalable the idea was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I kind of wanted to, and I was waiting to see where would it grow off to, because with it being so many transplants in the group, I know the word was spreading. Like, hey man, we got this group down here, da 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 da. Now we like a little pseudo family now. Da da da. So. And you talked about how, Welcome, you had plans to kind of integrate something like that into Nashville. So, and I feel like a place like Nashville and Dallas, they have a lot of similarities about the fact that it's so many transplants there, but it doesn't have a real true culture outside of, because I feel like Dallas and Nashville have something in common. It's like the cowboy connection. So especially with like young black professionals, you feel like, do I really have a place here?
Right. Because you're talking about things that are historic.
Right.
Yeah, the
like
historic
those
part
like
of it.
identities that you're saying, like those are things that historically it was there, but now it's like us as these millennials, like especially young black millennials.
Right.
I don't fit into that culture.
So
you
what
know?
am I supposed to do here? You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Because I saw that so much. Like, one thing you see a lot when you go out in Dallas, especially on Sundays, is you see people that's out like by themselves. Like, and it's just posted up waiting on somebody to like talk to them, man and woman. Like,
Yeah.
and because it's like, how many people moved here, just got a job, working somewhere, and they found their way around the city, but they have no real friendships or to people to kick it with, because I feel like everybody has their group of friends. You got the friends you can do, business things with. You got your friends you can go and kick it with. You like, anytime I want to go out, they ready to go.
Right.
But I feel like, why not just have a nice little collection of like everybody in one place? And so that's what made it dope to me, is that I felt like it put a lot of people who had different interests, different initiatives, and different interests like in one
spot.
in place, and so you can find your way within it. So like a small community within a city. So I'm really was rocking with it, and I'm anxious to see exactly how far it goes, because I feel like, why just hold it to Dallas? Because I have homeboys all over the place.
I mean, I think we can work on a name.
Whoa, you don't like you in Nashville?
Welcome home, Nashville.
Welcome takes Nash.
Yeah.
I
Nah.
love Nash.
Welcome to
That's like when I
Nashville.
call Nashville. The Nash.
Welcome to Nashville. I like that.
You more than welcome in Nashville.
I definitely told you about that earlier. I like that too. You're more than welcome, and we could.
Welcome to
work with that.
Nashville.
We gonna work on this, because
Yeah.
we gonna work on it. I just
now
gotta put
I'm
more in there
curious
somewhere.
to see how we can tie Welcome Nashville.
But I think it's interesting, going back to your comment earlier, talking about that you didn't really go out once you got here by yourself. Now, I'll be real honest. When I transitioned to Dallas, I didn't do that, but I was in a different space. I
Yeah.
didn't feel the need to. I was like in a space of creation and productivity and things like that. But so it's interesting, me being in Nashville, even my circle is like, we haven't seen you move like this. We haven't. And I'm like,
Why is that?
because I was in a different space.
So you're actually, being social now, outside of like just focusing so much on,
we're
growing.
getting things done. Yeah.
Like
We're-
the way she told
That
me
energy,
just
bro?
now, that
Yeah.
energy, energy in all caps just came from that, small little. We're
Yeah.
getting things done,
For
and I
sure.
believe every moment of it.
For sure.
Yeah,
and
you
but
feel her
but
talk,
it's
yeah, like,
different. it's different. Like I don't know. I not that I'm out all the time, because I don't want to say that, but I am out all the time.
You wearing less and
Nah.
going out more?
What you say?
I mean, I guess
Oh, is that what you said? No, I don't align with it.
Wait, did you hear what I said?
I think so.
I
You're
said,
wearing less and going out more.
Negative.
okay.
I mean, it does get hot in Nashville. So
Hey, dude.
In the summer, it's like winter,
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
got
it
there,
is.
so-
So-
my
it
bad.
is.
I
Sorry.
mean, do you have? But is there a real community that? Do you
So
feel
let
like
me
you
say
fit in
this.
Nashville?
Yes, I do feel that way, but I've been really blessed too, and I don't take that lightly. The connections I've made and the people that I've come in contact have been super important to me integrating into the city.
Yeah.
Big moves.
Otherwise, I think if you go to Nashville, kind of what he realized the problem with Dallas, you don't know where to start.
Right.
And you can literally just move past everything and not ever plug in. Be in a big city, see like, well, there's nothing going on. Where do I go? All that kind of stuff. So I think the same thing is happening in Nashville. Now they have a very, there's definitely a culture. There's definitely a vibe. There's an opportunity to create a distinct culture.
Okay.
Depending on what you're wanting to do, there's an opportunity to bridge cultures and come from a holistic standpoint as well. So there's lots of opportunity, but I think if you don't have an entry point, it would be very difficult. And I figured that out in about a week and a half that I was there. It would be very difficult to integrate the city. But I'm also not afraid. Like, so I'm gonna come up to you and say hi, no matter who you are. I'm gonna make connections and things like that.
That's half the battle nowadays.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Especially with social media, like a lot of people don't know how to really work a room and interact outside of text and message boards and group meets. It's like, do you know how to converse?
And that's one thing that I kind of feel was I hate to say this, but like a negative part of you in Dallas. I feel like some people just leaned on it.
Bruh.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say too much, but it's like people get a lot of confidence in there. You see them out at a function, it's like.
Yeah, like I really created it to be a way for people to connect. And like you even see me saying that, like it was certain things that people wanted that I was like, no, because that's going to make y'all not even want to like go out with each other.
Right.
You know what I mean? I really created that to make people want to meet in person. And if I'm not seeing that happening, I'm feeling like, no, I don't want to do
I remember when you opened the page Chill Moves for the people who were like talked about everybody was too social and too turned.
Two turns.
So I was like, okay, let's see what they come up over there and Chill Moves. No action. It was like, I guess this is where the introverts come to lie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Never mind. No comment.
I ain't gonna say too much.
No comment.
If you was a Chill Moves, hey, don't take it personal. But I noticed it was a ghost town over there. And because the thing is, I feel like a lot of times people rest on excuses of getting out and moving around.
It's got a lot to say.
Cause I ain't gonna lie, I was here 6 years before I really started interacting. Like I actually had to stop going home. It was like, get to know Dallas. You know what I mean? But also, as I moved closer into the city, I started being willing to, because I lived in Louisville for the longest when I moved.
Man.
But before I moved, so when I first moved here, I lived in Keller. What'd you say?
Said word to that pool party though. Did you go to that?
I was not there, but I got all the footage I needed to get. You know what I'm saying? I heard, hey man, shout out to y'all. You know, everybody in Louisville, hold it down. But like, honestly, I think that's also what kept me out, because I always looked at Dallas as just a place where locals reigned, and then you had to find your place within the locality, you know. But because anywhere you go, there's going to be a little bit of an initial clash with the transplants and the locals. It's like, don't try to water down what we do here, but it's like, bro, I'm trying to just bring in some more flavor, you know. And so it's that balance of not being, of being open to kind of collaborating, because that's what I've noticed is happening in Dallas. There's more functions and more events that lean towards just making a dope interaction, whether it be for, I see a little bit of everything now, and it's like, okay, has it always been here? I don't think it has, but I think you can go to places like Deep Ellum and find your way. Yeah. The Uptown Renaissance is what I call it. You know, like black people really, like 5-6 years ago.
Word to Tates.
If you were uptown, you probably could count how many black people you saw down the street.
I lived in Uptown.
All right.
I just want to say that.
Like about what you see
no
about
comment.
about when did you live out there?
I just
in
moved,
the 80s.
So
he trying to age you.
He really, I don't know where that came from. 3 years? 2.5, 3 years.
So we was working our way down there. I had already hit up Tate's, and I think TNT had opened around the time but
word to the Den.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
One network I think that Dallas has, and I think Nashville, I think what we're seeing is what Dallas has created, and this is why it's booming economically, is black people has found their way to get into corporate America in Dallas. Like easier than
everywhere. I wouldn't even say it in Dallas.
Well,
everywhere. That's the Sorry, go ahead.
Like no, like
I don't know about that.
everywhere. But I think Dallas is like a model to like, especially coming out of the recession. You know, I came here, you know, with this big plans, like, oh, I'm getting corporate America because.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know no other way. I want to be an analyst. That's all. I don't know what type of analyst.
He wants to dress up to go to work.
Yep. I want
I just said when I left school,
Boy, my mama gonna be proud of me.
right. But my network, I got in, and I mean, I'm telling you, I got down here. I met Antoine maybe, I don't know, 6 months after I got just at a job, you know.
Yeah.
But I was always, I moved. I started in North Richland Hills. And then I moved over to Capel, same, and then closer to Dallas. But I always was like a voyeur, and Dallas made me feel comfortable being a voyeur. Like I can just go somewhere and be like, oh, I fell up in this spot. Oh, and then you meet people as you move on,
Right.
And then all of a sudden, this big burst of group chats and that part of technology happened, and it made me get like, okay, let me follow a hashtag or let me find Slack to find like-minded people like me and make it smaller. Now I don't have to figure out where I'm going. I can, you know, go here.
For better or worse.
Yeah.
And just talk to people. Anybody listening, next time you go out to a bar, a restaurant, anywhere, just engage with somebody next to you. You know, just
Man,
make that be the challenge.
I don't know, man. That can
It can go left.
it can go left. It can go left,
But it can go right too. You know,
You know,
Like,
like
but if you, to move around, you gotta go left and
that's
right.
the
right?
risk. You know what I
You gotta go
mean?
left
Like,
and right if you're moving,
you
right?
know,
right. You gotta keep it
you
moving.
want to talk about strangers? You know, there's some weird folks out here. I never forget. You know,
Weird.
like,
Worth the slack.
but
Man, don't you want to get over 4,000?
it's not looking too hot right now.
Right. You like,
Hey, I love it. That's the thing, bro. Like when you pull over 3,000 people together,
Really,
you get a little bit of
There
everything.
was one channel that was problematic, though. You know what I mean?
Hey,
Like,
just stop what you're saying right now.
we're gonna leave it
No,
at that.
leave it at that,
He
bro.
had to do the Thanos move. You know what I mean? Like
I can't. Look, I can't.
that shit was hilarious.
Bro,
Like,
people was
came
mad.
back
They was like, it was
today,
a rap
10
shit,
hours
bro.
later, I'm like, oh shit!
It ain't there. Got quivered, bro.
I like he did it. He did it.
Because I've been talking about it for a while. I was like, bro, I'm gonna shut this whole.
You ever
did it.
wondered what happens when the projects get torn down?
and everybody got to scatter.
Yeah.
And then got to regroup again.
Yeah, that's literally what happens. Like, where we going?
Hey, that
Where
was
we
a good
going?
hey,
That's literally
hey,
like where we going?
that was a great use case.
Did I gentrify Slack?
Yeah, you gentrify Slack, bro. You gentrify Slack now that we talk about it. Like, because
Wow.
that day will go down, and it's one of the highlights. Not even a highlight. It was just more of the notable days of my year because I was getting, it was like a, well, what are we doing? I'm like, damn.
People started like, and I was at the point, and this is one thing that like, it might be too much, but like I was happy that from that people started saying, "Well, I'm leaving Slack," like because people went and started creating their own groups, and I was like,
that's what should have happened by then.
I wanted that to happen. That's what I really wanted to happen. Like for my goal from when I started was like I don't plan for everybody to stay in this group. This is a place for people who are new, and I feel like it got to a point where it was like there were so many people who had just set up camp there. It was like, all right, we good here.
We reliant, we like on like, and also but that can also be a hindrance because you start looking to one place just to find out what's happening.
Exactly, and I didn't like that.
So
I
you run
wanted you
into the
guys to
same
use
people.
this as a tool to find the things that you wanted, and I was cool with people moving on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now I can bring in that next batch of people who are new to the city, and there's not this thing that already exists. Because that was the problem with Dallas anyway.
The older guard, that's been there, and then the newbies come in. Because I started seeing that too, where they like, well, who this new person? I'm like, that's the whole
Point of what we're doing here.
They bully.
Like, they bullying the new
People,
person,
bro. And it was like, bro, like people don't even
Man.
feel welcome into Slack because like there's already a group that's set here that's just like, well, no, you ain't part of the group. And I'm like, bro, I started this group to avoid that.
Yeah,
You know, so
Man.
I was good. People,
we can be a little childish as
I'm still
adults.
trying to get an understanding of Slack and the channels that you created and the rules behind it because I don't want to get kicked out. Now, hey, you got to read the terms and conditions.
And I send them out, and it's literally 5 rules, and I'll be like, bro, like I wrote a whole article
Stay in the chat. Stay in the
in
thread.
your channel. Don't post no flyers. You know what I mean?
Right.
Be respectful. What else? I don't even remember all
That
my
fine
rules.
print.
Them ain't even
Right.
fine print. I put it in bold letters, bro. Like, don't,
It's still fine
don't.
print.
Can I curse on that? I don't even.
Yeah.
Don't fuck up. That's all I ask.
And then you can scale this to Nashville. You know, you might be dealing.
Right.
I think what you're gonna deal with in Nashville though is you're gonna have a lot more of an integration of other races. And I think that I want to see what that use case
That's
looks
gonna-
like because
when people in there being ignorant.
yeah,
I wanna
because
see
I
how the
want to see
ignorance
how
comes
it interacts with different cultures.
But Antoine, Nashville, man, they don't. When you say identity, like when you say Dallas, you're gonna be like Oak Cliff. All
No.
You're not gonna have that
Nashville.
type of ignorance.
That's
You're gonna have what you saying. You're gonna have that more intellectual book
Not
club
necessarily.
type. I think so. Like
No,
Nashville,
I honestly
Hold on. Let's let her tell us.
Yeah,
What is
no,
it like?
that's what I'm
No,
saying.
go
In
ahead.
Nashville.
And I want to hear your thought though, because
No,
it's interesting.
I believe, you know, I think with Nashville not being as ethnic as Dallas, is it? Mm-hmm. That's what, but this is where you can coach us.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, I've
Please,
never
they-
been.
they-
Only
I
thing
still
I
ain't
know,
been.
only
Bruh.
thing I know about Nashville is that's where country music goes.
Put it this way:
to
they
rain.
sit between Memphis and Atlanta, and they just sitting there.
Oh man,
They
I didn't
just
even think about it like that.
I'm talking about they listen in the they in
a
the
lot of
middle.
coonery.
They 2 hours from Memphis and they 4 hours from Atlanta. And if you talk to people that's in Memphis and Atlanta, it's a different vibe. They like we going to Nashville to relax from Memphis and Atlanta.
That makes sense.
I got a question for y'all. Do y'all know anybody who was raised in Nashville?
I don't know one person.
Hold on. I can
Young
say this.
Bud?
I know somebody that
I'm talking
left.
about
I know somebody.
You know
I
him.
know somebody that left my city when they was 18, and they been there and they like 27.
No,
30.
no,
that's
it is
different.
somebody
I'm
trying to
talking
get a. I don't
like
know.
somebody who was raised in Nashville. I have never
Young
met
Buck.
somebody and they be
Yes.
like, I was this is where I'm from. Like I was raised in Nashville.
Yeah.
Like I hear all
It's
them
like
other
Dallas,
cities.
they're anomalies, but yes.
Who is it?
I mean,
You wasn't raised in.
no, I wasn't. But I'm just saying, I met them.
Yeah.
They
So-
do.
So please
They're like
tell me,
Santa,
what
they
is
do
somebody
what you
like?
do.
Like I know people
Into
who are
the-
from Memphis. Like when I see a Memphis nigga,
Oh
I
yeah,
know a
you
Memphis
know
nigga.
him. You know
Yeah.
Memphis.
I know an Atlanta. You know what I mean? But like,
Is there
help
an
me understand?
ideal Nashville black person?
I don't think so.
Nah,
Not ideal, but like when you look like what are some of the defining traits of somebody
there-
who was raised in
That
Nashville?
fashion sense that is like,
Yeah,
oh, I know he's
man.
from
Like,
a
oh,
haircut.
you
So
gonna
this is what
believe
I
it.
can say. This is what I can say.
We
about
got like a little.
nah.
They got a shag.
Like, let's be honest. They
Southside
are.
fade.
But I want to hear. I want to hear. You know,
Yeah, no. This is what I would say about the Nash, and I want to be careful because I'm like 8 weeks in, right? So
She ain't trying to get kicked out the city.
let's be honest. I want to be in the group. I don't want to. I don't want to have anything up. I still want to be there. So one, I go into this one completely open because I went sight unseen.
okay.
So completely open to just being willing to connect and whatever the experience, like really not having anything in my head. A lot of people ask me, do I miss Dallas? You miss? And I'm just like, it's not like that, because if I think about it, then I will. So it's just a different experience. Now, to your point, the vibe, I think a person who's born and raised in Nashville, they have their own vibe. It's like a artsy meets intellectual meets eclectic. And it's not even really eccentric, but it's just their own. It's very different, but it works.
Yeah. It's
So they're like a chameleon.
They. All right. Put it this way, man. You in the mountains, so you.
Whoa, you went to the mountain. Okay.
You in the mountains.
No, but
so,
it is though.
Like, you own them. You
Oh,
in the
is
mountains.
it?
So
I
you
didn't know that.
So you're gonna have.
Oh.
You're gonna
I mean,
have. You
yeah.
do have hillbillies, rednecks. And this is both like black, white. They gonna go to them. They gonna go get. They may got moonshine. They got moonshine, bro. They do. It's a different. It's an amazing way to be like when you go there. The air smell different. The views everywhere you go. It's a different view of Nashville. So you can just have peace off the city.
I think
know-
probably the most interesting thing that I've taken away so far, just from being open and learning from the city and different people, is that they are a collective. So you can meet one, but really without knowing it, you've met like 50.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
It's a familiar face.
I'm not going to say familiar face. It's just a collective. Like
Okay.
one represents 50 that you're going to connect with.
Oh.
And
So they're all
and
very
it's-
similar. Is what you're saying?
No, I'm not. I'm saying
Elaborate,
it's
'cause I'm
so
not
Dallas.
understanding what you're saying.
So Dallas, I think, is more independent. So Dallas is more silo and singular in nature, right?
Mhm.
So I can meet you, and I just met you.
Mhm.
Like there's no one coming
Oh,
after
so you're
you.
saying they're a lot more connected. It's more of like a community of
Like
people
once you
who
meet
are
one,
all
he's gonna
integrated
introduce you to
together.
other
Is that what
people.
you're saying?
Collective.
Got
Yeah.
you. I didn't know
Yes.
exactly. Never mind.
So that means like once
Collective.
if I was to meet you and I have a group of friends or a collect, you're probably going to integrate.
And they're small,
into
exactly. And they're from what I can see so far is they're small collectives, but they're very distinct in nature.
Totally
very,
agree.
Yeah. And each one, depending on where you go, one might be more diverse than another.
Yep.
One might be more, I'm not going to say intellectual, but just different parts of the spectrum.
Yeah,
But they're very distinct.
and that's what.
but that's why I love us, because
And that's why I want
we're
to say
not
it was
monolithic
more.
at all.
I feel like they circles are more like book clubs. It's like it's no like it can
I
be
hear
a
what you're saying.
different vibe, but you enjoy it. Like I mean, like it was a group of women like this. You know what I'm saying? A group of guys like this, small circle. But it's good to be part of them because you learning something new. And I didn't see the level of I ain't gonna lie. Everybody I met there, level of education was very, very high. Like it made me like have
Do you
interesting
think that is
conversations.
it an intellectually strong city?
Absolutely. Yep.
So if you are looking for a good stock, if you're looking for a good mate, man or woman, you might be able to find something in Nashville. Don't sleep. For real, you got a lot of Vanderbilt grads, TSU grads walking around. I think Fisk is out there, right?
Fisk, yep, you're
Yeah,
right. Fisk is there.
you might find somebody,
And then
it's the home of the intellects.
Then you got Fisk, and then you got a lot of people. You got Murfreesboro. Then you got a community in Murfreesboro that you got to understand. And man, it's amazing. Like
It's almost like
it's an amazing
Chicago.
place.
Chicago has different boroughs, right?
Yep.
Chicago in itself has a dope vibe. Everybody likes Chicago. It's Chicago, New York, whatever. But
Right.
generally, people like Chicago.
Yep.
All the different. I think that's how Nashville is.
Yep.
Lots of different spots, boroughs, just different stuff. Boroughs it's like a rabbit hole.
Sad-
So since like I want to transition because you talked about the different layers of Nashville and we talked about Dallas. So with both of you guys both having the same like initiatives that you all are trying to create, and I think you guys have a lot of in common as far as personality traits. What is the next phase? Like, what do you guys see on the rise for 2020? Because with 2019 concluding, and I think that I feel like for me personally, this was a year of growth for me.
Mhm.
Like this was a year where I kind of like stepped out on more uncomfortable, like trails. Like I pretty much just went out and didn't put my head down. I just wanted to see what was out there. So just give us some insight, first of all, on the year reflection. I guess we'll start, ladies first. What did you learn about yourself this year? And what is your goal or one of your goals going into 2020?
What did I learn about myself this year? That's a good question. I learned, I don't want to say that I'm stronger than I think I am, but I'm very expandable. So basically, I feel like you can drop me anywhere and I'm going to succeed. Like it just, if you haven't seen a certain side, it's going to come out depending on what the situation and circumstance calls for. But I'm definitely going to go get whatever it is, establish whatever it is. If I have to build a loan, I'm not afraid to do that. If I have to incorporate people, I'm welcome to do that. I want to.
Mm-hmm.
That's what. Just kidding. I like to share. I like to bring people along. I like to collaborate. I like to do certain things like that. We were talking the other day about social media and different things, and he's more marketing digital, I'm more business, that kind of stuff, and we have great integration in the middle. But even from like a nano perspective, I get a lot of really influential influencers that I talk to. And I think people are like, well, how, when you look at the numbers, you look at how does this happen? I'm not afraid to ask. I'm not afraid to connect, and it's genuine and authentic. And more importantly, I'm not afraid to listen to the need, what's being said and not said, and add value. How can I help you do whatever it is you're trying to do? How can we get there? How can I help you cut the check?
That makes sense.
CTC.
And like the reason that I feel you on that, so we started the podcast last year?
July. We 19?
Yeah, July
18.
2018.
18.
The first 6 or 7 months, we were just having people that we knew on because it was like, oh, I'm not about to go and hit his DM. He
Right.
And then when I'm like, man, you know what? F this. Because I see one podcast, I'm like, how did they get him?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and so I just started just reaching out, just
Yeah.
connecting and just showing up places and just trying to like build a brand. But like, like really, this is something more of an outlet for us. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I also felt like it's built a lot of networks and also it's created a lot of relationships that have been very fruitful, and I believe like that's why this year has taught me that I'm a lot more social than I realized. I thought I was an introvert for the longest. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not
Nah,
gonna
bro.
lie.
The way you came into singles forum and was commanding the whole room, bro.
But
I know you didn't
that's
think that you was.
2019.
Oh, okay, got
Because
you.
2018 down, Antoine would have came in there and was just posted up, just filled the room out. Because I've always been that way, because I've always heard that I don't look approachable. You know what I mean? And so I kind of like just leaned on that. It's like,
Yeah.
if I
when
get to,
first
but once
approached
I get to know you, I'll
Yeah.
converse all day. And so I feel like this was the year of the social me, you know,
Yeah.
where it's like a lot more social than you realize. And
Yeah.
what's crazy is, you ever met somebody that you, like you ever had somebody that you met, you knew at one point in your life,
Yeah.
and they see you in a different point in your life, and they like, I don't recognize you.
Bro, I literally get that every year. Like, cause every
Yeah.
year, like I feel like I make drastic leaps in what I am, and I feel like people who would have known me even in Fort Myers,
Yeah.
looking at me now like, Brandon, bro, who are you? Like,
Like,
what? Yes, I get that completely.
cause you probably, I could see like with Fort Myers, you know, first of all, do y'all know who's from Fort Myers? Shout out to Plies, you know what I
Plies,
mean?
yeah.
Plies, he's probably the most famous.
I'm about to say, what's the football player that got that's pushing mental health? Brandon Marshall, because he's from Florida.
Well, I know he is, but I know Plies is
Yeah,
the
okay.
one who
Plies,
put it on the
dude.
map.
Yeah.
Fort Myers. That's why I knew about
Ain't no
Fort
equipment,
Myers, because of him. But and so the thing is, I think a lot of times, you know, because Brandon, you can give us some insight on what you learned about yourself this year. Because I want to go about what you learned. What did you learn about yourself this year?
Oh man, two things really. One thing is not necessarily something I learned, but something I was really reaffirmed was like my faith in that things will work out. You know what I mean? Like if you stay connected to the source of where everything is, like they're going to work out, and not to really stress yourself out about things when they don't go the way you want them to. Because I had a lot of things this year that like I was just like, bruh, like this is terrible. Like, like, bruh, like that I felt like things were falling apart. But as they went through, like they really came together. And it was just like, oh, now I see why that fell apart. Is because of the fact that I needed to make room for this. You know what I mean? So I think that was one of the biggest lessons, number one. And then number two was that I need a team.
Yeah.
Like that was
That's one thing a lot of people realize. But once you start realizing, that means you've been growing.
Bro,
Yeah.
that's totally agreeing. Just you ain't ask me, Ant, but to piggyback off that is
No, you got it.
like that's the part I saw this year in myself. Like crazy thing is like it's people around me that see something in me that I couldn't see in myself, but I had to calm down and focus on myself to see the amazing things that I can do.
Yeah.
Like, and then it was like, man, I'll be sitting there and something come and it'll come and hit me. The only thing it just come like, damn, I just like, thank you. Like I was like, I've been thinking about this for 10 years. And it just came, and I took an hour or 2 hours, and it just came to me, you know, and where it's in a creative space or a visionary space or just, you know, full circle on how I want to work, you know, networking space. You know, it all comes, you know. So, and I agree with you. We finna lead, you know. Crazy thing about us and millennials, I read, is we going to be the ones that end the war on drugs. But however, I think one thing we're going to show is the next generation and our predecessors before us is it's okay to work in the team. You know what I'm saying? It's okay if we know we got a star, everybody gonna be a star because that one person is a star. Everybody else gonna play the role, and that's gonna be
that
important.
was the part that I struggled with, is because I wanted everybody to be the star. Like
No,
that was the
dude, yes.
issue that I had.
Yes.
It's like I wanted everybody to be, and like I felt like, no, I'm not no star. Like I'm just like one of the workers here. And I felt like for me, it was keeping that same way of like working, like keeping that same work ethic. Is that like I'm one of the players, but like I need to step into a role where I let people follow me.
Right.
Because I wasn't letting people follow me. I would be like, I'm like, people look at me like the leader, and I'd be like, nah.
Was
nah,
it
bro,
more
I
like
ain't the
you
leader.
didn't
Like,
feel worthy, or did it make you uncomfortable to lead?
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't feel worthy.
Mm.
And that was the thing. Like I didn't feel worthy enough to lead people. But
Wow.
the whole, especially the whole you and Dallas thing, like that showed me like, yo, okay, I'm that kind of person. I need to play this role. You know what I mean? Because people were looking at me like, well, you the leader.
what we doing?
Yeah.
How we gonna get around this?
Exactly. And it was like, wow. Like I had that revelation of like, wow, I'm really this type of person, and I need to step into this role. So me doing that, I was just like, and then once you get into that role where you realize like, okay, I am a leader, you can't lead by yourself.
Mhm.
You need a team of people who can go on that journey with you, who will have your back. Like even if like, you know, the rest of the group is like not on your side, you need your core group of people who go ride with you through thick and thin.
You know what's scary is about like self and personal growth is the initial part of it is stressful. It's fearful because the thing is you're battling with regression back to the old.
Yeah.
Because it's like you're going to be in uncomfortable spaces. It's like being an entrepreneur for the first time. It's like,
Hello?
okay, you go from 9 to 5 to entrepreneur. It's like, now I'm responsible for eating. I'm not getting paid on the 1st and 15th guaranteed. And so that is very stressful. Like, if
Let me
you
tell you.
listen to anybody that's self-made, they had a point in their life where it's like, I was about to just throw in the towel. And it's
Yeah.
like, that is the part that scares a lot of people from taking a leap, is those what ifs. I mean, not what if, those failures, because if you let failure paralyze you, you will never move forward.
Let me tell you something. Ooh, I'm not gonna preach.
Come on, hey.
Come on with
Hold
it.
on, look,
Like
I
a
felt the
sermon
spirit
was-
start to bubble up. 'Cause let me
Wait a second.
let me tell you, when you got failure in your life, you on the right path. Let me tell you something. If you go through your life and you ain't failing,
You ain't
growing. Let me tell you, somebody in the congregation can understand what I'm saying when I tell you
Amen.
that when you are on a path to where you supposed to go, you go hit some obstacles.
Oh,
Let me
yeah.
tell you.
Bumps in the road. Speed bumps.
Won't he do it? Sorry, in all seriousness, that was one of the that is one of the biggest things when it comes to success. Like I tell people this all the time, and like I've had people look at me weird when I say this. The road to success is paved with failure.
Oh, that's a bar.
That's bro. And people are looking at me like, no, like if you're doing it the right way, if you got your plan right. No, you have to be able to adjust your plan at all times, because you're gonna have things that fail. If you're reaching for something that is meant like that, those things that's really meant for you, them things that like to other people aren't possible, because we all got something that we can do that everybody else just can't do.
Right.
You know what I mean? We have a mission in life. I feel that like only you can accomplish that thing. You know, and if you're going on that path, if you're getting to that thing that only you can accomplish, you're gonna have some obstacles because nobody's done it before.
If it's too smooth, it's either too short-sighted or it's illegal.
There you go.
If it's too smooth of a trip down that road to wherever you're going, is either short-sighted or is illegal. Like
Yeah.
I honestly believe like real growth comes with some obstacles
With
and some
failure, and there's some
and-
lessons that you only learn because you failed.
And then once you see those lessons, you go back and you identify the root cause of those lessons. So as you continue your journey to success, you're going to evaluate it and learn from it so you can keep moving.
Yeah, and it might be things that, look, somebody might have even told you already. Like, I know I have several lessons that I learned this year that like my parents have been telling me my whole life.
Man.
But it took you going through it and actually failing on
revelations
your
and-
own.
and hit
You
you
gotta, you there are certain things that you have to fail before you get it.
Man.
You know what I mean? So like anybody who's scared of failure, I'm telling you, bro. Like I had a coach, I mean, like not coach, a professor when I was in school, when I was in my sales program.
Yeah.
Word to U of H, go Cougs. And he told us, fail more.
Mm-hmm.
Go for it, fail more.
Mhm.
Like if you had 100 calls and none of them worked, make 200 calls, because just by numbers wise, you're gonna
Something's gonna hit.
something's gonna hit. But you're not gonna get to that until you go through those failures first. There are some people who just luck up and on the first try they got it. But
failure will fuck them up.
That's the thing. Statistically speaking, you have to get through those failures before you get to the one that's actually a success. Because if anybody could do it, there's no value in it.
But that's why it's like, because Welcome, you can expound on this. You you moving to a new place recently.
Got hot.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he was in here. You know, he needs the handkerchief.
I need the handkerchief.
Right.
Sorry, my bad. Go ahead. What were you about to say, Welcome? Because I know you got the insights. This is the one who give me my...
With her, like, that's because I was what I wanted to touch on with her actually moving to a new place recently. You know, I always feel like when you move somewhere new, that first night, it's a night of reflection. It's like, okay, I'm in a new place. I'm in a new area. I got to learn a new area. How's this going to go? I feel like it's the first day at college when your parents drop you off. Like, boom, make it work. So has there been an aha moment since you've been in Nashville where it was like, was there a moment when you realized, like, I can conquer this? Like, I got this. Have you had that moment yet?
I don't know if there's been an aha moment. Has there been?
I don't know. I feel like you have aha moments every day.
I do.
I do. You're like, bro, look, I realize this.
Yeah, there's that. So I don't know if there's been an aha moment in so much as it's been like, so the first, you're right, you know, you get dropped off, whatever. So in complete transparency, Nashville for me was a faith move.
Okay.
Yeah. Straight up faith move. Went there sight unseen, like.
Yeah, never been.
Listen. I was
actually for navigation.
Right. I was actually moving to Houston. I was actually gonna move to Houston.
Wow,
I had like a whole situation set up. Like, it was great. I have tons of friends there. My mentor is there, and I mean, she is everything. I mean, we rock hard. Yeah. So that's where I was going. And then 2 weeks before I was, scheduled to go, I got redirected. I'm a big person on faith. It anchors me, and I got redirected, and I was like, now wait a second here, sir. Wait a second, because you tell me I'm going. Okay. Because that's just how, this.
That's real millennial, right?
Yeah, but that's how this communication channel works, because I've tested it enough. Yeah. So I know personally, right? Okay. But anyway, so I went, but that first night, I cried. Like the big ugly tears, the big like, oh yeah. That's the one. And I was just like, oh my God.
Wow.
What happened?
But what led you there? Because was it fear, nerves, what?
What led me to cry?
Yeah.
Just the fact that like I literally just changed my whole life. And there's a big difference between being led and leading. Yeah. Huge. I am a type A person. I am an alpha. So for me, like I go get it. I make things happen daily. So for me to really surrender to a position of being led is different. I don't have all the information when I'm being led. You know what I mean? Like, it's different.
I see a pivot here.
What's the pivot?
Because you said you were a type A personality.
I am.
A type A personality in this day and age, okay? I had this discussion with no, it's actually dope. I had this discussion with a female friend of mine about 3 weeks ago. So she went to school with me, and it's, those people that you know, but you don't really talk to them all the time, but then y'all just catch up. Yeah. And so she's a type A personality, and she was talking about the struggles of her, finding a mate. Okay. And because I feel like independence, especially for a woman, is not as acceptable as it needs to be. The reason I say that, because sometimes a man is intimidated by a woman that is too, type A, or somebody that doesn't need you, because you have to find your place now. So when you saying that you are a type A personality, has that been a hindrance in any way as far as dating, anything like that?
For me, it hasn't, and I'm going to tell you why. So
you got the juice.
You got the juice.
I don't know what you mean by that, but I will say.
I'm just
saying,
she
really don't know what that means. Like, she doesn't.
No, that just means like you have a flair about you that guys are just I rock with her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I definitely understand what you're saying, and I think from a generalized conceptual place, that's definitely in the marketplace, quote unquote, in the realm of how people move around and the perception very prevalent today. What I can say about me, not others, because I don't know, but what I can say about me is even though I am type A, even though I am an alpha woman, I'm very traditional at the end of the day.
Okay.
So when I get done leading everything external, when I come home, I want to be home.
It takes a special one.
I don't want to lead. I want to sit down. I want to be in. I want to have the car door open for me, sit down and look out the window like, oh, where are we going? Oh, wow, that's great. Like, that's my lane. You know what I mean? Like, not to oversimplify it, but I appreciate that. And
Michelle
I want to say
spoke
this.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah. I appreciate men who are men. And I'm saying this because I feel like we were just talking about this. There's so many women empowerment, women this, women that, da-da-da-da. And I think that's great. I think it's great. But I don't agree with it at the point where it marginalizes and minimizes the voice of men. Because as women, we have a very specific voice in things that we bring to the conversation. But men, there is nothing better than a man. Because y'all bring a perspective to the conversation and the table that's needed, particularly that we as women need. And to have this kind of like proverbial conversation where it seems that men are kind of put off to the side is really shooting ourselves in the foot. Like, we need you to problem solve. We need you to look out and see what's coming. Like, we need that perspective. And
just like we need things from y'all.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
And to the point that one of you said earlier that when I talk, my voice has weight. When men talk, your voice has weight.
Right.
And things shift and move accordingly. And if you're not speaking, and if we as women are not creating an environment that allows you to speak and be a man, that's detrimental to us. So I just want to say.
But I think,
thank you.
I think a lot of times what's been a hindrance in that dynamic is the finger pointing because of so many years of tribulation amongst each other. So because I feel like a lot of times meaning like this. I feel like it's too many men out there that are threatened by the idea of a woman with a voice, and there's too many women out there that are threatened by a man with a voice.
But sure. And that does exist. But at the end of the day,
the right one will find you.
So let me ask this question.
Wait. At the end of the day, I think that like as a man and woman, you have to decide what you want, right? And we can either choose to live in the past and we can let all that stuff that you just mentioned impact our communication and our goals and what we want right now. If I still wanted to, and this is going to be really thin ice, but just follow. If I still wanted to identify with slavery in a way that said I'm still a slave, that's different.
Yeah.
I don't identify that way.
Right.
I'm not negating it didn't happen. I'm not negating the things between men and women didn't happen, but I choose not to live or create from that space. So we really have to be intentional with our communication and what we're creating with that whole dynamic. And you even mentioned, the mindset earlier. That's huge.
Right.
Like your mindset has to be clear. It has to be ready. You have to be open to everything that you want, or you're not going to have. I just wrote a whole book on it. So you have to be in that space.
You have to give us insight on that. What would you expand on what you was going to say?
No, I mean, she really just covered everything. For me, I was just gonna. I think I was gonna ask, like, as men, why are men intimidated by that? Like, I don't know. I've looked at it like, for me, I look at it and I see a woman who is like that type A person. Like, I feel like long as it's somebody who, like, kind of like what she said, somebody who can still respect the dynamic there. You know what I mean? And I feel like even like all type A women, I feel like they still want want that.
You still want a man.
Yeah.
We still want a man, y'all.
If you ask me,
We
the
still
number
want a
one
man.
trait in a woman is confidence.
Yeah.
A woman that is self-assured. Because
Self-assured, yeah.
I feel like it takes a lot out of a person to pour into a person to believe into themselves. Meaning, if I have to pour into you to get you to be self-assured, then that takes away from me, because at the end of the day, I don't want to have to build up somebody's security, because me being taken out of the picture can be detrimental. You get what I'm saying? And so that's why I've always been more open to a woman with her own voice, her own movement. Meaning, I like a woman that is busy. Meaning,
yeah, you don't want nobody that's bored, bro. Let me tell you, the worst thing to date is somebody who's bored.
Oh my God, bro. It takes a lot out of you, because it's like, I don't need you to ask me what I'm doing 4 times a day. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing shit. You know,
I can assure you I'm busy.
And so I say all that to say, and I think really, that's why you have to find somebody that's equally yoked. And it's not financial a lot of the time. It's somebody who's equally yoked socially, intellectually.
Yes.
Just somebody that shares a lot of the same insights on future tense things, because growth is very critical in a relationship. So if you're dealing with somebody that is regressively that is more aligned with the person that you're moving away from, you guys will clash further down.
What
It's
I
that
always tell
comfort
people
zone.
is like it's not a matter of, because I think some people like, you got to find somebody who think the same as you. I don't think it's thinking the same. I think it's living in the same reality.
Stratosphere.
The same reality where it's like not, y'all don't necessarily
narrow that down.
And having some core foundations.
Yeah, I don't think you have to like necessarily agree on everything and like just see everything exactly the same, but I think you have to have the same kind of parameters of, here's what actually makes sense in life. You know what I mean?
And like you said, like the big picture.
Yeah.
And one of the big pictures you touched on, Ant, was growth. Like that's something that's, as a human, you cannot always be like, all right, I done got here and that's it. Like everything has moved faster. We not in the industrial age no more when they was figuring out how to move faster.
You're working somewhere 40
We're moving
years.
so fast now. They like
40.
Like what?
Yeah.
Bruh.
You know, now we moving as fast, so fast that it's just like they don't even know as a human how fast can we go right now. That's like a study. Like technology has pushed us so much that
we don't know our limits.
Like, whatever happened to the Encyclopedia Britannica? You know, remember that, where it come out a year later, and that's when all your big ideas. That's when you reading about it. Now
it's real time.
Now you can go to a blog, like you can Google, I want to do this, and you can find a form where somebody's already thinking about it, and you like, that's the answers I was looking for. All right, let me go from here and keep going. Where, bro, like 90s did not exist.
Yeah.
And so now it's just like, we got to understand as a couple, as a community, as a circle, that growth is going to be included in every relationship that we establish. It's about growth. You know what I'm saying? Like podcasts, our growth, it always have to, if we don't incorporate growth in it, then it ain't going to really,
you have to have room for growth, meaning you have to have the
scalable
infrastructure that's scalable, meaning, and I feel like that's critical in a relationship, meaning if we don't have things that we're pushing things towards, like, I feel like you grow a lot when you're pushing each other towards something.
That's crazy.
Definitely.
Like, just the thought of that. Is the relationship scalable? I've never really even looked at it like that.
Because that's how I look at it. Because, all right, are you able to, in that relationship, can you take your spouse pivoting their career?
Yeah.
Like, will you accept that?
Yeah.
Like, if you're dealing with somebody who's strictly with you because of what you do, that's a very scary thing.
Yeah.
Like, I talked to a former athlete. A lot of athletes, they divorce after their careers because you dealt with somebody who's used to you being in the light, somebody who's used to you being on the road. So when you're available and when you're actually,
now y'all sitting at the home looking at each other like
I don't
what
know this
do?
person, but she was the person that was perfectly set for you to live that lifestyle of being an athlete. So now when you're integrating to the real world, she doesn't know how to pivot. He doesn't know how to pivot. And so that's why I feel a relationship has to be scalable, because I have to see myself with this person in every facet of my life.
Right.
And at the long end. And so that's why I said, because you can outgrow somebody. A lot of times people lean on day ones as being the most fruitful friend. That is not always, a lot of times it's actually not the case, because I feel like if you are cool with, I look at it as a small town mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You ever been, like Charlamagne the God talks about this a lot, being from Moncks Corner, where a lot of my friends, I get that we don't have anything in common. But 20 years ago, you guys could talk all day.
I talked to nobody from high school, except for one person. I have maybe two people that I stay in touch with from high school. That's it.
Because you guys have all gone down different paths.
Exactly.
I'm going to say this because both of you guys had so much opportunity of the city. When you at a small town and everything affects you, like this person next door get killed, and this may be your homeboy first cousin, and you may be taught, like everything affects differently, where y'all share those bonds, quicker. Like, I'm gonna be honest with my Facebook community, it's all really where I'm from. And it's like 6 degrees of separation, really. Like, real 6 degrees of separation. So I understand, like, from you guys, if we was in if my core, my homeboys, that we still talk, we 30 years strong, and we still talking. But I do see if we was coming from the city that you guys come, our interest, we would have developed other groups where we could have been just like y'all said. I talk, man, bro, how you been? You know what I'm saying? It's been a minute. But however, we was those groups to get our channels out. Like, I got a homeboy right now, I promise to God, hooked up, created a Bluetooth in his car in 2003 in his truck. He took a Bluetooth here and rewired it so it can come through his speaker system and it work clear. I promise you, bro.
Wow.
Like, what is he doing now?
Man, he's still in machinery. He just that type of dude. Like, he'll put a lift kit on the truck. Then I got, like, we was on software engineer when we was getting video games. I go buy a video game. If I couldn't beat it, I go to my homeboy house and we'll sit over there 3 hours to figure out how we gonna beat this board. I'm like, man, I'm stuck on this board. Man, let's stay up all night. Like, those were the things that we was on, and we built from that. And now we out in the world, and we telling people about our homeboys because we meet in these groups. They be like, what was you at 30 years ago?
But that's that small town flair, because if you're from a smaller community, you latch on to people for longer, because it's like I feel like there aren't as many distractions in the relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, being from a city like Houston and Dallas is like, we can know each other in middle school and never see each other again until we're adults.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I see people all the time like, damn, she went to 6th grade with me. I haven't seen her in 20 years. And so relationships are a lot more fleeting. Like, that's why you hear about people from New York and LA. It's like, oh, they fake. Nah, a lot of times they not fake. It's just, I don't latch on to every relationship. I have my core, but if we speak in passing, or if I tap in, hey, just checking the temperature, making sure you're good. Oh, okay, you good? You breathing? All right, boom. Next, on to the next phase. And so I believe a lot of people have to that's the new millennial way of interacting. It's like, it's a lot more fluid, where we're not just, you might not speak to somebody every day.
For me, I've always saw myself as like a social floater.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, even in high school, like, if you look at me back in high school, like, if you ask anybody I went to high school with, and you be like, so who did Brandon hang with? They'd be like, shit, everybody. Like, and I've always been that person. So that for me, like, I had a time where I felt like, bro, I'm not even like I don't fit into the Southern culture, because I feel like that's what the Southern culture is like, to develop those type of connections where, like,
deeply rooted relationships.
Yeah, like, I never been that. Like, I've been that type of New York person where it's like,
almost awkwardly deep. I'm like,
you said what?
You've known each other since you were 2?
Like, how?
Yeah, how, bro? Like, do you have the time to maintain all of these relationships?
It's hard.
I feel like the more people you meet, the harder it is for you to hold on to just specific relationships.
It's an amazing
I just don't
skill.
have time to do it.
Yeah,
both sides is amazing skill, because sometimes I promise I wish that I had that. Like, it was easy for me to cut off, like, not necessarily cut off, but have put a limit to a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Put a limit to a relationship where it's established on what we have established, but that's where it stopped. You know what I'm saying? Not overdriving passion into a relationship that just don't need the passion.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes sense. Like, it's kind of like coming from, like you said, a small town. You're going to put a lot of passion to these relationships. You're going to spend a lot of time and invest. But look back,
you're going to see this person probably at least twice a week. You know what I'm saying? Like, in a small town, like, you can't avoid somebody.
I'm going to see you at the grocery store.
Yeah.
Twice a week. You're going to see them twice a day. 8 hours. All right, man.
Like, I'm really tired of looking at your ass right now. Like,
But also, look, this is one thing, and this might be a tangent.
Yeah.
But I think this is very important. This is a lesson I try to teach people, especially when it comes to dating.
Okay.
If you want to date somebody, if you really want to get to know somebody, it has to be like the best way to get to know somebody, if you're going to date them, is to fall into certain circles with each other. Like, I feel like when you do the things like the Tinders and the Hinges and like all those things like that, where it's like it has to be intentional, You know, wait, are y'all
She's
pouring
trying to
We
get
are
rid of her drink.
so
She
listening.
is
Oh, you
not
got to
drinking.
sip a little bit.
We're
You
not-
got to
No,
We're
wait, time
listening.
out. She's a
We're
lightweight.
listening.
I'm gonna go ahead and put that out.
highlight.
Super.
Oh,
I don't even.
much you done
I don't
had?
even none of it because I don't even do. You know.
Oh, you don't do
I
Dusse?
appreciate. I don't really drink. I appreciate the hospitality though.
Oh well, you know we.
I
no
wish
peer
y'all would
pressure.
have. I wish y'all would have told me before y'all poured this much in
Hey,
the cup.
hey,
we
finish
can't.
it off.
I would have
We can't
told
kill the
y'all.
alcohol. I mean, we
not put
can't.
that much in
Go
her
We can't
cup.
waste it. We can't waste the
Go on
alcohol.
ahead. Go on ahead.
That's bad luck.
Right, we're gonna have to pass it. We're gonna have to pass it among us.
Out of nowhere, bro. Like, what do you?
Spider, you got a cup yet? You want
Uber
this?
it everywhere. How you-
Listen.
Hey, we got it. We got it.
Down it.
Take it to the house. Take it to the crib for. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, my bad.
I was like Spider, kill it.
No, you got pour it. He can get his own.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
But no,
Oh.
I wanted
You
to.
driving?
Before we get out of here, what is the one thing? Like, what is a goal? Because you know, asking somebody what are their goals for 2020,
Mm-hmm.
that can be a difficult question because you're still assessing. What is a goal of
Oh, wait.
2020?
I'm sorry, I didn't finish that thought that I was saying because I got
Oh,
I
distracted.
felt
Oh,
like
yeah.
it was finished.
Y'all are so
y'all should do
petty. Y'all are so petty.
Okay, I'm gonna make
It
it
was
very
a little
quick.
petty.
Yeah.
It was a little
I'm
petty.
gonna make it very quick. So I feel like if you want to develop relationships with people, you can't do it in like if you're intentionally trying to create relationships, you have to do things where you guys are meeting without intentionally meeting up. So for example, like if like you think about something like Cheers, you know what I mean, like the bar,
Yeah.
like those people knew each other because it's like not because like I'm going here to see such and
You
such.
knew where they would be though.
Exactly. And I feel like that is how you form relationships by not intentionally trying to see that person, but you doing things that you're already doing, you're going to see those people. Like, think about it. Like, some of your best relationships was those people that you went to, like, high school with or college with. And it was because of the fact that y'all had to see each other
Right.
all the time
Yep.
without having to set up, like, oh, let's go on this date. Let's do this. Let's do that. Like, so that's my advice for people. I don't know why I ran into this.
No, I
tangent
mean
of
it's
advice.
a real thing though. Because
But-
if you see
No,
people
you
that are
gotta-
at a lot of the same places as you, that might be somebody that
And
shares
it go-
a lot of the same interests.
Exactly.
So that could be a
That's the
percent-
best
And you got to keep
relationships.
creating that to keep that growth going. Like it's human nature. Like you know
But
what I'm
that's the thing-
saying. We can't think that you find that one. Oh, I done found this, and you go back to what you're saying about Slack, and this is it. No, we got to keep growing. Like we got to keep. And we all been in IT. You got to keep creating that branch. You know what I'm saying? We can talk about repositories and how repositories have different branches so you can have different releases. You know what I'm saying? Those are
you
things.
went way over my head. I'm sorry.
You know, like, sorry.
I
But
was
you,
with you.
no,
You
but
went over my head.
But yeah,
I'm
but when
sorry.
you know what I'm saying? When you talk about
I'm
that,
about to
you
do
know,
that.
repositories and source data, you know what I'm saying? You have what you call a repository. And then if you want to create out the repository, you create a branch from that repository. But after you create that branch from that repository, you want to do a new release because you want to take everything from the old repository and what you created from this branch and release something new. And it'd be what you call new output.
Mm-hmm.
And that's exactly that's it.
Absolutely.
Welcome to IT project management.
Yep. That's it. Hey, that's what we do.
No, but
Sorry, go ahead.
Not
Finish
to
what
go
you
too
were saying,
far
the
off,
thoughts. Yeah,
but
got it,
yeah.
got
So
you.
what is a goal? So you can start us off. You can just work around the table. So welcome. What is a goal of 2020? I know you have at least one that you're like, okay, I
Yeah.
gotta do this.
My goal around 2020 is impact.
Mm.
Impact on every level. I believe in blooming where you're planted. I believe in making a difference. I believe in adding value. Lots of really core fundamental things for me. And just something inside of me is do it in a big way.
Mm-hmm.
So as much as I find open doors, rivers flowing, that aren't obstructed, that kind of thing, just I'm going for it. So impact, something that's beyond me, something that's I'm not going to say legacy, but it really affects people. It's, in this concept of influencers and things like that, a lot of it is surface. So really getting to some deep waters with some things like that and really, defining what that looks like and equipping people to interact with people, not products and things like that. So just impact.
I got a feeling you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Like you could tell somebody tell you something. Like I think that's one of your strong suits is being able to get somebody to buy in. You know what I mean? Like I feel like you're
She got that.
influential. Yeah, I see it.
And Nashville's perfect for you. Like you,
it's a lot of
reason
growth
why you
potential
had to veer there.
That might
Thank
be
you.
your spot for real.
Yeah, like it would have. Yeah, it's great.
Shout out to everyone in Nashville.
Shout out, Cashville, Nashville, we here. So my boy Brandon, man, what's a goal of 2020?
I think for me is to trust in a team is my biggest thing. Building that team and then trusting in that team.
That's a good goal.
Yeah, because she knows like I struggle with that. Even like because we work together on a lot of things, and like even with that, like it's a struggle for me, like to be able to just like be able to step back and say like
allocating things.
I don't want to take your thunder, but if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, get people to go with you.
Yeah.
Go ahead though.
No, I mean you didn't steal the thunder.
The bars are
she
plentiful.
emphasized
That was
it.
like-
It wasn't stealing.
And then
She
she said, "Go ahead,
emphasized.
go."
God, dang.
Like
And this is what I'm talking about, like stuff like that, like me being able to have somebody I'm on a team with who's able to give me those type of insights. You know what I mean? Like, because for me, I've just been so hard, and I think at a certain time it was necessary. It was at a time it's necessary for you to like get on your own, build your plan, and try go as far as you can on your own.
Absolutely.
Because for me, when I first got here to Dallas, I had all these ideas, I had these same exact concepts, and people wasn't rocking with it.
Yeah.
Because I was looking at them like, hey, let's do this.
Right.
But I didn't have any credibility. So now I've built that credibility on my own. Now it's time for me to build a team around that credibility. You know what I mean? So like that for me, 2020 is all about let's build it. Let's take
real.
over, you know?
But hey, more power, because I honestly
Hey,
that's a dope concept of being able to focus on working with a team, because I believe like what that'll lead for you is just even more growth, because I feel like you get something out of seeing somebody collaborate with you and actually succeed. Like you get more out of seeing other people grow around you than just seeing yourself grow. I just honestly believe that. Knowledge, what's a goal of 2020 for you?
Man, my goal really is to I want to push myself as a visionary and a curator. Like I really want to I want to step out and really do end-to-end projects. You know what I'm saying? Always about collaboration, but also, making the uneasy collaborations easy at the end result. Like I mean, same thing. I mean, working with a team, but that's just my big thing. Like I really wanna tread water in the visionary and curation. Here in Dallas, because I think we, and I mean everybody in here, we've been working hard to curate this great ecosystem that we know that's in Dallas. And I think we steady stirring the pot. And when it come out the oven, or when it come out, it's gonna have some good seasoning on it. And as long as we sitting there, you know what I'm saying? As long as you there treading water, shit, you gonna get what fall to you. You know what I'm saying? So I wanna push myself to steady stir that pot and keep it going. So.
That's good.
Man, what's my goal? This is gonna sound weird, but my goal for 2020 is
Tory
discomfort.
Lanez,
It's discomfort.
DJ Envy.
That's a good goal.
Like,
You know what I'm saying?
because honestly, this was the first year where I actually started pushing myself towards discomfort. But now it's like, let's further that, because it's just stepping outside of my comfort zones, finding myself in new interests. Because I've surprised myself this year on what I was interested in and what my strengths were. A lot of times you don't really realize what your strengths are until you're put into the arena.
Oh man.
You know what I mean?
Damn.
Say that again, bro.
So really 2020 for me is just further discomfort, So
The real juice is being able to play in the uncomfortable space, in that gray space, in that unknown space outside your comfort zone, and being able to stand in it. Like, okay, it's uncomfortable, and then run back in, but really take up space out there.
Wait,
play in
time
the
out.
rain.
Y'all see she learned a new word and she implemented it in the conversation. Can we?
What did I learn?
Juice? She was like, the real juice.
Yeah. You
No,
caught
I
that one.
don't-
That was 100. You caught it good too.
So
She's like, look, let me tell you, y'all keep talking about the juice.
Yeah, it's
Nah.
perfect too in what you said. Like you that's where the juice is created, is when that one moment that you doubted yourself in an uncomfortable position, but
somebody fucking with you.
Some told you, nope, stay there.
Yeah.
Stay. And immediately, like a minute later, it changed. It's like, oh, I can handle this. And next thing you know, you're floating through the room and you're left and right. And next thing you know, you're walking out of there 45 minutes later with a business card or something. Man, I met this person. That's how I met Brandon Moore. That's how I met Antoine. Like, that's how I meet people, because my anxiety will kick in. Like, nah, let me go on back home and flip through this movie. But I sit there. I
Make
sit
that,
there. And
curate that
gotta go out.
conversation.
Right.
Yeah, man. You can't make connections on the couch.
True story. We was like, I knew Brandon from social media, but we was at the Black Chamber of Commerce meeting and walked in there, and I'm like, man, dude, just everywhere. And we just had a 15-minute conversation, and then me and him were like, man, take pictures with my homegirl, because she was shy. I'm like, nah, you need to take pictures with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Miss RMBA. You know what I'm saying? Any financial literacy. If y'all want to get the bag, pull up on 10 minutes, she'll tell you. But it was all about, just getting out of the anxiety level and really, really, hey, man, I'm going to go shake this dude's hand, man. He may not know me. We're going to talk about how you integrated from, you in Dallas to more in Dallas and Slack.
Collaboration in 2020.
Yeah.
So, is that so? First of all, I want to let everybody know where you guys are found. So, welcome. Let everybody, all the listeners know where they can find
She
you.
was trying to make me take a good photo of her. Was that a good photo?
No,
or should I
can you
redo
do
it?
like a,
You gonna take
A
at least
boomerang?
4?
or maybe not a boomerang, but just something.
What you mean?
Just hold down the button.
hold on to the button. I'm gonna do a boomerang. All right, y'all
Listen,
ready for the
do
boomerang? We
something.
about to do a
She gonna
boomerang
play-
live
she
on
gonna-
air.
Wait, Mr. Digital, do something. Do something in the wheelhouse.
Yeah,
that
this
you
is your
specialize
wheelhouse.
in.
Yeah, this is what you do.
Right?
Hold on.
Like just
Hey, friend goals. Hey, this is relationship goals right here.
This is what she rely on you for.
right.
good?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Was that it?
That's
All right,
perfect.
bad.
Yeah, just save
It's
that.
all about the-
Nah, just save
It's
that.
all about the angles. But welcome. So let
Yeah.
everybody know where they can find you. You know.
Yep. You guys can, I'd love to connect with you at welcomesarah.com on Instagram. I'm always on Instagram, at welcome_Sarah with an H. If you have questions, if you want to connect, slide in the DM. I know that sounds crazy, but you can.
Don't be in there with the bullshit.
Yeah.
We
But
had
watch
time
the
to touch
slide.
on
But
that.
watch
I think
the slide.
that's where IG has transitioned to, because, and it go back to what we saying, being sociable. It used to be some creeps, son, in these women. So men like us,
Used to be.
Still is, bro.
Yeah,
I still see it to
There's
this-
some Uncle Daddies out there.
but I can understand why y'all used to be defensive. Now I think you women are getting comfortable and distinguishing, like, is this dude really a creep, or he really feeling the vibe that I'm pushing out?
Yeah. And yeah.
Watch out for dudes that only respond to your stories where you're kind of being sexy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that dude might be a creep. You know what I'm saying? Like, I honestly believe that's what messes it up for some people on social media. Is because like a guy trying to build a relationship with a woman on a platonic issue. Sometimes, on a platonic.
Excuse me, say what?
Like, you stupid. But on a platonic level, it can be harder at times based on you trying to make sure you don't have any other agendas, men and women. So that's why it's dope that you guys are collaborative, because I love to see that dynamic between men and women. Because I believe that's how you cover more blind spots.
For me, DM, lots of business goes down in the DM for me.
Right.
A lot.
Not just mine, but like I'll go into other people. Like, that's just how you doing.
That's how we built this show today,
Yeah.
man. I just hit be more in the DM, like, hey, man, pull up. And like, cause honestly,
Even though we started this in September, when you was like, tell Antoine to hit me. I'm only free. It was September 3rd. Like, I'm free any other week, and
No, it's all about timing. Everything's about
I think
timing.
it's perfect though.
timing, because we got welcome here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Feel like it
So
happened
welcome
exactly how it's supposed to go.
_Sarah with an H. Creeps, stay out. Influencers, people looking to collaborate or just looking for have good, dope, dynamic correspondence. Hit the DMs. You know.
Nashville, pull up.
Yeah, but
Nashville.
hey,
How you doing?
fuck with her. 2020 is a year.
Yeah.
2020,
Impact.
bro. She about to take over. God
So
dang.
be more, let them know
What
what they
Where to
can
find me? Shoot.
Where
You
we
can
find that
me in the
now,
li-
and where we gonna find you at in 2020?
Look, you can find me in a liquor store in the section that sell Dusse. That's where you can find me at.
Already.
Or you can find me at the grocery store in the section that sell Stella Rosa. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's where I be at.
Hey, plug and play, man.
Right.
Well, Stella Rosa ain't even no official sponsor or nothing like
You
that.
just fuck
but
with it.
I just fuck with it, you know. But no. In all seriousness, whoa, this Dusse is. You can find me more in Dallas on Instagram, more in Dallas on Twitter. Really, let me tell y'all something. Pro tip: if you really want to know who I am, follow me on Twitter.
I gotta get with that.
On Instagram, I'm more in Dallas, but on Twitter, Brandon.
I don't know what to fuck with because like I'm like, man, I'm starting to look at this nigga a little different.
Look, the person you hear right now, this is Twitter Brandon. This is who I am. You know what I mean? Instagram, it's the same person.
It's about balance.
Exactly. It's not like I'm a different person on Instagram. It's just that I'm a scaled down version of Brandon. You know what I mean? So if you want to see the realness, get on Twitter. You know what I mean? But no, really on every platform, More in Dallas is what you type in. Websites, More in Dallas, Twitter's More in Dallas,
with 2 O's.
Instagram with 2 O's. Don't forget the double O, you know? So rock with me.
Hey man, you know, I'm not gonna lie. I love having podcast episodes like that where I just feel like it's just a building session. So
Yeah, we really came in here and like got closer together. You know
yeah,
what
man,
I mean?
y'all feeling the congregation.
I
in
feel
that.
it. Even the dude here who I don't know your name, sir.
Hey,
like you
shout
walked
out
in.
to my boy
Shout out
Alex.
to 1-5.
That's
You know
that's
what I'm
our
saying?
that's our we got an Unspoken Conversation family.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I'm
he.
saying?
Got you.
He
Yeah, I
just
felt
pulled
like
up
he was
a-
part of the conversation. He didn't say a word, but I still felt like he was
He's
involved.
somewhere.
yeah.
If you watch
Blood
Breakfast
Mike,
Club interviews, the dude that's standing over there, we have one of those in a lot of our episodes.
Right.
Like, hey, he part of the program. You know what I'm saying? So,
I feel it. And then Spider in the background, bro.
Yeah.
yeah.
Shout out to
shout out, man. It's my boy Spot Deezy, man.
Right, Spider said he done a whole 12 hours today. He like, hey,
And shout out to our Mexican Padres, you know, the other two of Unspoken Conversation.
D-Boy
my boy
and
Flip
Flip.
What was that?
and D-Boy. You know, they got daddy duties.
Man,
you know what I'm
they-
saying?
yeah,
say less.
This is the holiday season.
Say
You know,
less,
it's
say
about
less.
presents. And, you know, and so we understand his priorities, so we had to
I
hold it
understand.
down
They
for the
don't.
camp.
They don't care about me. But that's
Yeah, man. Hey,
No, I'm just
bro.
playing. I'm
Hey, they got real youngins. You know, like if you got self-sustainable kids at like 13 and up,
Yeah.
but when you got the youngins, you got to give them
Yeah.
that Friday night time. You know what I'm saying?
Got you.
So, yeah.
So
Got
give me
you,
more.
man.
Let me ask you before you do.
What's up?
You got to play for New Year's Eve?
I don't have a play for New Year's Eve.
Okay.
Well, might need to put
Well, we
together.
need a play.
You might need to put together a
This
play
is the
because
thing
there's a
about
lot of people
Nobody do a
asking
day
what is
party for
going
New
on.
Year's Eve. No, do a happy
'Cause
hour.
it's cold.
A happy hour.
This is the thing about New Year's.
It's
New Year's is so oversaturated when it comes to
Yes.
events, and that's why, like for me, I haven't even tried to like set a event up or like try to like even make a specific move because I know that last minute there's gonna be something because there's a million things going on.
Right.
So I'm telling you, if you just get on Eventbrite, you go find
Oh
something.
my
You go
gosh.
find plenty of people there.
Yep.
Don't feel like it's gonna be something where you're like I
I'm
I
trying to
gotta have a
decide
move.
now.
Like bro, you go find something. Bro, like
So,
just do some
I
last
just
minute
don't
shit,
want
you'll be
anything
good.
too expensive. You know, I'm tired of spending money on New Year's to turn up. Like that's
yeah.
I feel
you know what I
that.
mean? I don't need to spend $200
But-
to party. with you.
But Antoine, I want
Honestly, bro, I might end up at somebody's kickback on New
I
Year's.
really like house parties.
that's
might
what
be-
that's what
Yes.
New Year's Eve. That's what the like between 9 p.m. to New Year's. That's what it is. I'm asking like I'm gonna get up early in the morning. Like if it's something
Bruh,
at 1 o'clock p.m.
You are a morning person.
You know what I'm saying? 1.
He's the friend that will call you with an idea at 6:45 in the morning.
Mm.
Yeah, I gotta stop that, man. I realize all my circle. I can't call them until after 8, 9.
If you wake up and I see
Do you
two
know how
missed
much-
calls from you, I know he has an idea brewing. So
Like,
he's
bruh,
that guy.
I started the other day. I started with, man, what clip we can put out within 3 hours. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna do this piece, and then I was like, I'm gonna add this piece, and I'm gonna add this, and before you know, I was like, man, just make sure you just hit me before you wait, like before you get your day started, because this needs to go like
Because
now.
I wake up
I
at
used
9
to be
a.m.
that
and got
person.
17 messages from him.
No, I used to be that person. Like until just recently, I just got to a point where I just started like waking up now like 8 or 9.
Yeah.
Like, but I used to be that. I used to be that guy that be up
Yeah.
at 6 o'clock.
I'm up at
Word
5.
to Rachel, huh?
I'm up at 5.
I'm
at
at,
5.
yeah, I'm at 3:30.
Mm.
I'm at
Yeah, like,
3:30.
word to
That's
my
club
editor.
hours, bro.
Like, bro, I just left Waffle House.
But see, I'm gonna tell you guys, you gotta understand. This is something you gotta understand when you get your REM sleep. You gotta catch it.
That's
you gotta
true.
catch
That's
if
true.
because if you catch your REM sleep, that's your best sleep. So
Mhm.
it don't matter when you get up. You just gotta know when to catch it. Mine's is always between 8 p.m., 10 p.m. Literally, I have and listen, I have an offshore call that would throw off my REM sleep, and I just be up all night. Like I go to bed at 6. and I know I have a call at 9 or 10,
I'm
and I get my
I'm
REM
just taking
between
my
6
work
and 8.
clothes off
Because
at 8:30.
if I don't get my REM sleep, my next day is horrible. Like my next day is, my whole goal is I need to catch my REM sleep. I gotta catch my REM sleep.
But that's what happens when you get to a place of maturity in your life. Because it's like, oh, if I go to sleep too early, I feel like I'm going to miss something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh no.
like, you know, the kid that's eyes is heavy, I've always been like that. That's why I can't really take midday naps. So that's another goal of mine for 2020 is sleep. You know what I'm saying? More sleep, because I don't want to age myself. But yeah, first of all,
I need to get back into my early riser. Like, bro, really the best times in my life have been when I've been getting up early. So I really need to get back to it.
Hey, well, that's the thing about finding your wheelhouse and just finding your comfort zone. But honestly, though, welcome, Brandon. I just want to say, from the Unspoken Conversation family, we want to say thank you for pulling up.
Appreciate you.
Also, to the listeners
Thank
out
you.
there, you know, we got one more episode for y'all for the year. Then we're gonna give y'all a little bit of a break until 2020. You know, I know y'all tired of hearing us. So, but if there's anybody who wants to, has any questions for us, welcome, or Brandon, make sure you reach out to him, because I feel
I got a
like,
question.
what's up?
Am I the only one that's lit right now?
Yep.
Yeah, you
I'm the only one
started before us though.
Yeah.
I don't think that was your first cup when you got here. If it is, I'm gonna be very disappointed. Did you eat?
Party of one.
I didn't.
Be more in Dallas.
we gonna have to bring you back when the level of unspoken is at 10. Yeah. Then you gonna be like,
Yeah,
I ain't the only one lit.
This was a.
I feel like I've been
this
drinking
was
my
a
drink
tame
fast.
Episode. This was
I
an
feel-
episode where we wanted to get to know you.
Time
So
out. This is cup
since we
2.
know you-
Time out. Is that your first cup?
This was my first
Yeah,
cup.
still for the first one. Yep, just finished it.
This is my second cup.
That's your first and a half. And
And a
so it's
half.
like you only halfway through that.
I'm not like drunk or nothing, but I'm lit.
No, you feeling good though.
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
I
That's
got
what I'm
a
talking
little- I got
about.
a little warmth in my chest.
Yeah,
You know what
I'm not saying I'm not talking like, oh man, I'm lit.
Oh no,
out of here right
I've
now.
seen
Like,
you lit.
But now you kinda
You
have.
ain't there yet.
You have. Look, you've seen it.
You're walking
ain't
You
out.
know I'm not there, but I'm just like, bro, am I the one full of my alcohol?
It
'Cause I
can
feel
get
like
real reckless on the mic if he.
reckless.
But take a sip. But no, like, man, for y'all out
Where's
there,
the South Side on
man,
Lamar?
this is if you hearing this is on Friday night. This will be releasing Monday. But everybody go and mess with the website, unspokenconversation.com.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Go follow the page, Unspoken Conversation, on Instagram. Watch out for the merch, man. My boy Marcus has been
Unspoken Conversation
making
team.
some shit happen.
The Unspoken Conversation team has been working hard to provide
you
you
would
guys.
you would think I'm a designer the way this nigga sends me ideas throughout the day. Hey, look, what about this? What about this? I'm like, bro, you know what? I love your mind. That's why I rock with you,
Man,
boy.
and I love him because he know how to scale it back and make it scalable.
Like, okay, I like that. But
Right it is. Right it
Like,
is.
he was like, hey,
We don't need the lights.
won't
We
you
don't
keep
need
it simple? He was like, this, like the other day, he was like, keep it simple, do this and this. I was like,
I like that.
why we didn't think of that 3 months ago?
That's why we work, my guy.
Like, bruh.
But yeah, man. So y'all keep rocking with us. If y'all have any feedback, post it. Let us know. Just
Yeah, we
spread
got
the
something
word.
2020. We got something coming, man. Hey, everybody that rock with us. Matter of fact, pull up next week. We're gonna have an unspoken kickback recap. Drinks starting at
We
7,
gonna discuss that.
happy hour.
We
I'm
gonna
telling
discuss that because he's trying to
you, Spike, I
have.
got you next week. Like we gonna be turned.
He's been
gonna
trying
be
to put
turned.
that in play where he said, "Fuck it, we just gonna have a kickback."
Yeah, we just
session."
gonna. Hey, Spider, be ready. You gonna be
Hey, we-
Look, you see my hand? You see the serious
Hey,
hand?
Friday,
Huh?
hey, we like next Friday's the last show of the
It's the
season.
last
It's gonna
show.
be a recap show. We got a nice guest
Pull up.
coming in.
Who guess?
Hey, man, hey, we don't like to,
You want to pull up?
Spoiler.
They're gonna
You
need
might
extra
want to
guests.
pull up. You might want to pull up for this.
Spider said
guest.
y'all have a room downstairs.
Oh, there's a big ass room downstairs to party in.
Yeah, we got
Say
space,
less.
man. Hey, we all about coming
say
down here and just
less.
rocking with us and just getting the feel.
Yeah.
I feel like we cool.
We'll come upstairs and do a podcast, and we gonna get back and kick it.
Right, man.
I want to record when we do
Oh yeah, no,
Can I
if
hop
you
on the
go-
mic?
If
If y'all
you
have
go
somebody
back
here.
and listen, bro, you will find out that we want to have the turn up brand in here. So
Yeah, like,
Hey,
like
you
we
are
just
more
didn't-
than welcome.
we wanted to get the brand.
we want our best
Now we're
behavior.
gonna get
like,
more.
because we
Just starting
felt
to
like
get
y'all had
into-
stuff that really needed to be covered.
Yeah, true,
But
true,
we
true,
can
true.
go real left on this
Right.
podcast.
And I feel like I'm just now starting to get there, and I'm like, dang, we cutting off now because I'm starting to feel good now. I want to talk reckless.
Next
Oh.
week, Spider.
we
Next
don't want to
week.
mess up Welcome's brand.
Yeah.
True. That's not her brand. My brand is very much like.
That's why
hey,
we gotta
know
bring you back for the branding episode. This is the More in Dallas episode.
Right.
We need the branding
That's the
episode.
Need I Say More episode. That y'all
Yes.
looking for. Got you.
Yeah.
That's
Hey,
back in Twitter when I was
You
reckless.
joking,
That was
but
my Twitter
we
name.
love to bring back guests because the first episode is more about the introduction.
Got you.
The second one is like, you like family now? Let's rock. Let's hit the ground running. So
Got you.
make sure we do that, and everybody give us feedback on what you might want to hear from us.
Yes,
Just
sir.
let us know. Get some insight on what you're looking for from the Unspoken Conversation brand. Spider, you got anything in the pipeline
I
for
got,
us to go out on?
I got a request earlier. I have to.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, you see, that's why we rock with him, man.
Spider.
Hey, if y'all ain't heard this, man.
Brace yourself.
Oh,
Hey.
oh, Christmas. What you gonna get that girl? Come on, baby.
Oh my God.
I want a little bit of this. I want a little bit of that. I want a little bit of this.
Shout out to my boy More in Dallas, man.
Man,
This your boy Antoine the Source.
man, this knowledge, man. Keep achieving.
It's Unspoken Conversation.
Change a 11 Philip blunts, 10 cane gold, 9 Sega tapes, 8 gold teeth, 7 pair of jeans, a 6 spike of beer, 5 fresh gold chains, 430 spoke a 3 pike of draws, 2 girlfriends with a Cadillac to put it all in. Hey player, what you gonna get for Christmas? What you gonna get that boy? What you gonna get for Christmas? What you gonna get that
Christmas Day, the birth of Christ, no doubt. That's what it's all about. Let me head stop the beat for a sec. Show some respect. Santa Claus, what's up with you? Tell K now what you gonna do. 'Cause I want everything I say. Cash flow, standing underneath my mistletoe. And it ain't no ifs, ands, or no buts. Gone to fill my stocking up with a lot of shoes, a lot of clothes, a lot of cash, a lot of gold. Cake to the knock, want a lot of stuff. So if you think you got enough, get ready, 'cause my Christmas list go a little something like this. I want $1,200, 11 pair of shoes, 10 fingernails, 9 pack of weave, 8 male strippers, 7 bus passes, 6 diamond ring, 5 months free ring, 4 bagel, 3 pocketbook, 2 earring, and a man with a lot of money.